Sup guys, doing a little answering of questions here. So question one is, name, age, in-game name and games you've played professionally. My name is Domi, Reitmeier. I'm 25 years old, better known as Black in gaming. And I've played Dota 2 and Heroes of New Earth and Dota 1 professionally, I guess. Question two, can you provide a brief description of the work you do that is related to video games and how you came to be doing that work? Well, technically I am only playing video games like professionally. So what I do all day is pretty much just training, playing the game, analyzing replays, watching other people play and analyzing their the way they play the game to improve my own game. And how I came to do that work, it was I started in Warcraft 3 with Dota 1. It was just for fun, no money involved. You pretty much just won for the sake of winning, just pride and honor on the line. And then I realized I was quite good at it. Then some tournaments came around that involved having some money in them, so it grew bigger and bigger, and I guess the rest kind of just worked out that way. I don't know. I never really planned to be a professional gamer. It just happened. Question three. What is one thing you like and one thing you dislike about this work? One thing I like is obviously that I had the chance to chase my passion and my dream. But it came at a big price, because the thing I dislike the most, which also brings me to question four right away, does being an eSports professional make games less fun to play? Yes, because before I became a professional, gaming was my hobby, but it's not my hobby anymore because it's my job. So I had to kind of abandon my hobby for my job and had to find a new hobby, which is kind of sad because, as I said, it really gave me the most joy ever just to play video games. But everything comes at a price. Question five. What would you say is the most important way that video games have affected society? Affected society. I'm not entirely sure, honestly. I never really thought too much about that. But I know that it's kind of a split opinion. Some people say it's awesome, the new generation is coming in, bringing all the new things, all the new video games, technology and all that. And then the other side is video games make people more violent. There's more criminal activities because of them and everything. But yeah, I hope one day people actually realize that, it's just a form to compete in. It shouldn't really influence people in a negative way. So yeah. Question six. What challenge facing the gaming industry do you think is the most important to solve? That is a tough question. I think the hardest challenge esports in general has to face is that it's even though it's growing quite rapidly, it's still quite far from becoming mainstream and people accepting it. Because even nowadays, when I tell people about it, they're like, "What? You play games and make your living off that?" Oh, I would love to do that. I can press some buttons on my keyboard and get paid by that. Oh, it sounds amazing. But people actually don't realize what's behind the scenes. Sounds really good on paper, but there's so many things people don't know, and so many sacrifices that you have to make in life to actually make it work. So it's a bit sad that it gets undermined a lot by a lot of people, but I think time will solve that issue. Question seven. What do trends in gaming industry do you anticipate, and how do you think your work will change because of it, if at all? Trends. I think every esports right now is becoming more casual. They're trying to make the game easier to play, just so the player base will grow. And I don't really think it affects anyone. It makes it more fun to play for most people. Personally, I like challenging games a bit better, so in that regard, it hits me a little bit. But all good, all fun, as long as the community grows. I'm not gonna be one to complain about that. Question 8. What do you think distinguishes a successful game from an unsuccessful one? Pretty much two things. First is the community. Of course, without a good community, a game will never grow. People that work hard to grow a community are very much appreciated. And the successful esports games do have these people. And the unsuccessful ones, they probably don't really have anyone that like tries to push the game very far. And of course, number 2 is the developer themselves, because like they have the power to promote the game, and if they don't do it correctly, the game will never grow. And of course, you need to be able to balance it correctly and all that stuff, but that's all up to the developers. It's out of our hands. Okay, those were the 8 general questions. Now we go to the more in-depth esport questions. Number 9. How much work goes into being a pro esports player? Do you just practice by playing video games 8 hours a day, or what do you do? Okay, so honestly, a lot of times you have to put in a lot of time. Like a usual day during tournament season would probably be around like 12 hours. You play your games, like you play on the ladder alone, you play team games, then you analyze your games, you analyze the team games, you have team discussions and all that stuff. And yes, you spend pretty much all day with the game, but it's not just playing, it's a lot of theoretical work too. Number 10. What are the major differences in professional gaming and gaming for entertainment? Well, gaming for entertainment basically means you don't really care too much whether you win or lose. You're more casual, you just play to make it fun for the viewer. But if you're a professional gamer, you want to win it doesn't matter at what cost it comes. You play super boring if you have to, you just do what you have to do to win, and you don't really care too much about what the audience thinks about it, because in the end, winning is everything for you. 11. Do you still have the passion for the game after all of the hours you have put in, or does it ever feel like a task to play? Honestly, sometimes it is like a bit of a chore, because you just have to put in 12 hours every day or more. Sometimes you can't really stop playing, because if you do, other people play more and they will get better than you. But in the end, it's still my favorite game to play, so I can't really complain about it. It's just sometimes it gets a bit much. Then you just need to take a little break for like a day, maybe go out, do some sports, something like that. But overall, it's still okay. The passion is still there. Question 12. Professional esports gamer or streamer. How often do you experience or see toxicity within your own community? Does this change your desire to play the video game? Honestly, especially team games, the people are very poorly mannered, they have very bad manners, simply because it's very easy to find someone else to blame other than yourself. Even if you play really terribly, you can always point fingers at your teammates. Oh, you did this wrong, we lost because of this, blah, blah, blah. Whereas in single player games, you would be able to you can only blame yourself. There's nothing else to blame. And that's like a bit of an issue in team games, I think, that people don't look at themselves enough. But it can definitely impact people very negatively. A lot of people quit the game because of that. But you just gotta realize they're not actually serious about it. They're just having a hard time losing. They're sore losers most likely, and they don't wanna blame themselves. So yeah, it's just like how the human brain works, I guess. But definitely, if you watch this, always think about your own mistakes first, because you make a lot every game. I do too. Everybody does. The game is way too hard to be perfect. Okay, number 13. Are you only focused on only playing your competitive game, or do you try to still get around to try playing other games when you have the time? During Dota season, like when there's majors coming or TI coming or just tournaments in general coming, I only play Dota. I don't want to get distracted at all by any other game. So I only focus on Dota. But when there's like a break after a major, after a TI or whatever, then I still play some games just for fun. Like recently I played a bit of God of War on the PS4. It was quite hype. So yeah, definitely I just focus on the game, but when there is time and there's no tournaments coming, then I definitely play other stuff too. Number 14. there has always been the long-standing debate that esports is not a real sport because of the lack of physical activity involved. What is your opinion on the statement? Would you classify your occupation as a real sport? I think esports and sports is quite different, and I don't really care too much about whether they see it as a real sport or whatever, because in the end, the essence is kind of the same. You just compete to win, but the way you get there is completely different. Because like people say you don't really use too much of physical activity or whatever, but go play a tournament and you play like 2 or 3 best of 3s in one day, where like everything is on the line, and you have to focus 100%. Your brain, you will just get so tired. You will feel really bad. Like you can't really gather clean thoughts and everything, and you get really exhausted. And like by no means is it easy, but I don't think it will ever be considered a real sport because, by definition, you don't really do anything physical, I guess. But that's why it's called esports and not sports. So we're on a good way to like establishing our own franchise, I suppose. And question 15. As an esports athlete, it is very important that you develop your own personal brand in order to have a career after pro play, such as streaming or other content creation. Do you worry about developing your brand? Why or why not? Well, what you said is very true. So I personally agree very much that you need to develop your own brand, because there's like a lot of opportunities to go into like shoutcasting, being an ambassador of the game, just being a tester of the game, maybe a coach in another team. There's so many reasons why a good brand just helps you, that you should always take very good care of your own brand, and yeah, like just be careful with what you do and not do online. It is very important. Not too much else to say about it. Just always stay on the positive side. 16. What is your plan after retiring from this industry? Honestly, even when I stopped playing as a professional player, I always planned and still plan to still be around in this industry, as you call it. Just being around in the scene, help it grow. Try just to make gaming become more mainstream, make gaming grow in general. Just be part of the scene. And because it's my passion, whether I play or not is not too important. I just want to see esports as a whole just succeed. And I just want to help push that. Even if I one day can't compete anymore because I'm too old or have like some kind of health issues or whatever, I would definitely stick around, build my own academy, coach teams, manage teams, build my own teams. There's like so many things you can do, and I'll definitely be sticking around. Last question. Have you ever been discriminated against because of your background or where you're from? Well, it happened once before. I played in China for 2 years, and I was pretty much the only like foreigner there. There was only Chinese people in all these teams. Even though I did really well, it was probably the most success I've ever had in my career in China. I won a lot of tournaments, a lot of second places. People never really accepted me, So that was a bit hurtful. A lot of like racist remarks and everything. But you just have to stand above it, because in the end, it was my decision to go there. I knew it was gonna be hard. So whatever happens, just gotta fight through it. And well, it's not only here, honestly. It's just in life in general. It's going to throw a lot of stuff at you that you hate, probably. Just got to keep fighting through it, and it will make you a stronger person. You will become a better person. Your life values will, it will just all get better. So always just make sure you stay positive. Don't give in to the negativity, because it's like poison. It will eat you up from inside. So with that being said, guys, always stay positive. Hope you liked the little Q&A here. I wish you guys all the best, and yeah, I'll see you guys around. Bye bye.